And welcome to our first edition of our Rocky Mountain College Battlin Bear Coaches Show for the year of 25-26. We're going to start out with head men's basketball coach Danny Neville. And Danny, how we doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, I'm definitely enjoying this weather. That's for sure.
It's back where we're North Dakota and South Dakota. It's snowing today, so we're lucky.
Yeah, I think it's probably headed our way too. Well, Coach, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you think of Billings and Rocky Mountain College.
Yeah. So I started my career in South Dakota, Presentation College. Now I think they shut down a few years ago. And then I was at University of Jamestown for 12 years, 8 as the head coach. And last year I got the chance to work at Langston University. It's a HBCU school in Oklahoma. And that was a great experience for me, just, growing in my career. And then obviously being here in Billings, my family loves the town. We love the school, the colleges. It's just a beautiful area, and still has that Midwestern feel. So obviously we're trying to, do some things basketball wise. And anytime you come in, new coach, new program, new things, it takes a little bit for everybody to kind of get on the same page and kind of be that well-oiled machine that we know we could be. So, but overall, it's been a great experience for me and my family. I've been here since July 1st, so it's been awesome.
Well, good. Well, let's jump into a little bit of talk a little bit about the season thus far. You're 5-1. That's not counting the exhibition game last night at MSUB, but tough loss at home against Carroll. But other than that, a pretty successful start.
Yeah, we've been happy. Anytime. It seems like we've been on the road for a long time, but when that Carroll game happened, they're really well coached, and they got really good program, good history. So they exploited a lot of things that we were struggling defensively at, and I thought that whole week after we got some things taken care of, and we've played really. I appreciate our guys. We've played really hard. I feel like our effort is there. It's just now we got to get some things about just playing more intelligently. Knowing time, score, all that stuff. Adjusting to things on the fly. But overall, I've been pleased with our guys. Like I said, I think our effort is there. I think these guys want to win. It's just getting everyone on the same page. But overall, I've been pleased. Obviously last night we played MSU Billings, and they're really well coached. They got a really good team this year. They're athletic and long and strong and can shoot, and they're really, really good. So I was really impressed with them last night, and I thought our guys really competed, and that's kind of been our thing all year, is just effort, the controllable stuff.
Well, Coach, the games I see, of course, the Carroll game in live, but the other games I've watched pretty much on video, and kind of tell me what's your philosophy offensively and defensively. What are things you would like to see this team excel at besides everything?
Yeah, I think exactly. I think with this team, I think even before the season started, we're going to pride ourselves on defense and rebounding. And again, back in my time when I was at Jamestown as the head coach, we were more, high powered offense, ran it, felt like we could run with anybody. And it defensively, I thought we were tough, but we weren't we didn't have crazy athletes. We weren't great defensively, but I think this team has a good chance to be good defensively and be good, rebounding. It's just, offensively right now, I feel like the times that we're successful, we're really moving the ball and we're really sharing it. And the times that we, have multiple possessions where we're not scoring, the ball is sticking. And so offensively, we got to move it better. I think when we consistently move it, we're really good offensively. And when we don't, I don't think we're very good at all offensively. But the biggest thing defensively for us is, adequate pressure. And I know, especially with the Friday, Saturday games, it's hard to really, really guard 2 nights in a row. So we're trying to get acclimated to that as well. I feel like we're really good on one night, the first night, because we have all week to prep, and you're putting everything into that game, and then that Saturday game, we got to do a better job of really setting the tone and really guarding. But again, we're coming from a weekend, where I thought we played pretty good basketball, not great, on our Bismarck Dickinson trip. But again, when you have, our defensive average that weekend was 60. So if you're giving up 60 points a game, you're putting yourself in a good position to win games. So we just got to keep focusing on those areas, the defense and rebounding.
That kind of brings me up into another question for you, Coach. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but the back-to-back Friday, Saturday games. I mean, to me, your game with Dickinson, it looked like both you teams. I didn't think either one of you were going to get to 20 in the first half there for a while. But it was both teams. And talk a little bit about your thoughts on the back-to-back games.
Yeah, it's tough. You got to have good depth. And a lot of times too, like it's not like Friday is 20 miles away from Saturday. It's you play somewhere on Friday and then you got to travel to get to the next spot. So, you add all those things into it. It's just tough, and you got to have guys that, are can really compete on a consistent basis. And to me, like the older teams are going to be the more successful teams just because, when you're playing back to back, you got to be tough. You got to be experienced. You got to have, you know, you got to know, like a big thing too is like you got to know how to take care of yourself. Are you playing on a Friday night and eating pizza and drinking pop and and so that all that stuff comes into play, like how much sleep you get, like how hydrated you are, like so you can't relax. And me and Coach Selvig were talking about it the other day, and it's like you come into one game and you come into that Friday game, and like when you get to that Saturday game, like think about like like Dickinson, they got beat by Carroll, and he was disappointed, and he really challenged his team and all this, and then we're coming off a win at Bismarck, and so each team is in a different spot on Saturday. So you worry about your guys coming into that game thinking, hey, we feel good, hey, this and that, and then they're coming and fighting for their lives. So, it's all how you prepare for the games. And I just think that that Saturday game is really tough, and I think the toughest teams are going to be able to, go back to back.
Yeah, I think one thing you said there, the kids got to take care of their bodies. I think that's huge, and I think you're going to see your programs that got the better weight programs, lifting programs, make
For sure.
stronger kids are probably going to have an advantage on those Saturday games for sure.
Oh,
Well, Coach, let's take a look at the standings in the Frontier Conference here, and I'm just kind of going to let you go through them. Western on top, boy, they're scoring 96 points a game, but they've only played 2 conference games, so it's kind of difficult, for me to look at stats and standings this early in the season. But give me your thoughts on the conference and where things sit now.
yeah. Just looking through, we got some really, really good teams. Obviously, we played Carroll. We've seen Western. Valley City and Western, I think they had a really high scoring game. It was like 107 to 104. So, you look at Bellevue, Dakota State, Montana State Northern looks good, like Montana Tech. And, you go through the list. Mayville was tough. Like we have a lot of teams that, it's not we just talked about it, but you look at that Friday, Saturday, and it's, man, you got to go 2 Tech and then 2 Western and 2 Bellevue and 2 Dakota. Like those are tough back to back. So, you look at these stats and it's like a lot of teams can score. A lot of teams are very efficient.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at the high scoring, especially this early in the season. I know offense is usually ahead of defense sometimes, but when I pulled this up, I was kind of surprised. You got 5 or 6 teams scoring, averaging over 80 points a game.
For sure. And you got some teams shooting super well from the field and from the threes as well.
Yeah, we don't want to get started on that with Coach Keller coming up next. The way the threes were falling against him the other night, but no, it's going to be I think a great season, Coach. And I've always said, no matter how you look at this situation, you gotta win the games at home. You got to protect your home court. Go out there and steal a couple on the road, and at the end of
For
the
sure.
year, typically you'll usually be pretty good. But you go on the road. Your next conference game, you got a little break here until December 5th, I think. So,
Yep.
well deserved rest, I think, for your players.
Oh, for sure. They'll probably enjoy being away from me for a week here. So
Yeah, yeah. Then, the next home game, of course, will be, yeah, back here at Rocky will be December 12th, I believe. Coach, I'm going to give you a little bit of time here to wrap things up for us, and I want to thank you for coming on, and look forward to doing this on a weekly basis, and kind of keep us posted on Battlin Bears.
I appreciate you. Thanks for doing this. Really means a lot.
All right, Coach. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate your time.
Yes,
Go
sir.
Bears.
Go Bears.
And welcome to our coaches show. We've got head coach of the women's Battlin Bears here, Coach Wes Keller. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Just doing a few last minute preparations for Montana State Billings tonight, and then obviously getting ready for we got 2 big games in Helena this weekend. We take on Oregon Tech on Friday, and then LC State on Saturday, both of which are ranked in the top 25 currently. So big week for us.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that. I think early there before the season ever started, you play like 11 or 12 teams on your schedule that are in the top 25.
Yeah, no, I told the team the other night, I said, this is probably one of our most challenging, non-conference schedules that we've had since I've been here. Part of that is, I like our team. I think we have a chance to do some things, and I would just soon, go out and compete against the best, and then actually see where we're at and what we actually need to improve on.
Well, Coach, talk a little bit about your team and the season thus far. It's not seems kind of funny, only 4 games in already, but just talk a little bit about the season thus far.
Yeah, we have only played 4 games, and a lot of teams have, played 8, 10 games. And, I like our team. On the offensive end, we're very, very, very efficient currently. I mean, we're shooting over 50% from the field as a team, which is, you know, I've never had a team shoot that high of a percentage. And then, we're shooting 47% from the 3-point line. Definitely playing with pace and doing some really good things on offense, sharing the basketball, moving it. My frustration or things that I know we got to get better at is on the defensive end. And we're still searching for a person to step up and fill that role as kind of the defensive stopper, if you will. Someone that can, night in and night out, go guard the other team's best player, and we're still trying to find that, if you will.
We'll talk a little bit about the schedule thus far. You talking to Coach Neville, he's got a little bit of a break. Your team really doesn't have a break as you head out this weekend and then get going right again after the first of the month.
Yeah, it's going to be the end of November here, and then December. We got 3 non-conference games in Phoenix, and then we got a few. I think we got 4 conference games left before the new year, and we're going to see what we're made of. I think we have some depth, and I think we're going to need some of that depth as we finish out this month and then head into the month of December. I think there's a stretch where we got 4 games in 6 days or something crazy like that. But you get to the national tournament, you got to be ready and willing to play multiple games over multiple day periods. So hopefully we'll be able to handle our business and play well and compete and have enough energy at the end of it.
All right, Coach, I'm gonna throw the conference standings up here and just let you talk a little bit about them. Maybe if I get her to work here.
Yeah, I don't like that Rocky's sitting there at 2-1, but that's fine. No, Dakota State's. I mean, they're ranked 4th or 5th in the country. Coach Mo does a phenomenal job over there. It's going to be a dogfight, and as you can see, Dakota State tipped us over, or Bismarck State tipped us over, and I'm pretty sure they were picked last in the preseason coaches poll. So just goes to show you better be ready to play every night. Otherwise you could get beat.
Yeah, Coach. I talked to Coach Neville, and what's your thoughts on the Friday, Saturday games? I mean, I didn't notice it so much in the women's game on your last road trip, but it's like I told him, I didn't know if the men's teams, Dickinson or Rocky, were going to score 20 points first half, but they looked pretty sluggish.
Well, he probably told you it was all defensive. They were both really good defensively that night. But, no, I really hope that the league looks at it and it's what's best for the student athlete. And I don't know that playing Friday, Saturday necessarily is always the best. You look at a lot of leagues around the country, and the RMAC, for example, used to play Friday, Saturday, and then they switched to Thursday, Saturday. I just think that's beneficial to not only the kids, but also having a prep day, as a coaching staff to get your kids ready. And then you got to take into account the weather. We play in the winter, and those storms rip through Montana and North Dakota at times, and I hope they look at it and possibly change back to Thursday, Saturday, afternoon game on Saturday, where your teams can get home at a decent hour and not be forced to come home on Sunday, like several of the teams in our conference will have to do.
Yeah, I think that the addition of the extra travel this year, I think, really plays into that as well. Because I mean, you play in Bismarck on Friday night and then have to get on a bus and go to Dickinson and play Saturday. I don't know what time you guys got in to Dickinson or whatever, but buses aren't real comfortable. I know that.
No, it just goes to show you my age. I'm sore and after sitting on the bus for a couple days, but everybody's got to do it this year and how it is, and no excuses. The schedule is what it is, and we'll try to go do the best we can with what we got.
Well, Coach, just wrap things up here, just talk a little bit about what you see in the future of Rocky Mountain women against these Frontier Conference teams.
Yeah, I think we got to stay healthy. We had a few injuries early, and we'll get one of them back. But I think staying healthy and staying fresh and we definitely got to get better on the defensive end. We got to get to the point, our mentality as a group and as individuals, that it should tick you off, make you mad when your man scores on you. And you know, I'm looking at, our national tournament game last year and then the Bismarck State game. We're not built to get in those track meets, and we scored 88 points against Bismarck State. We shouldn't lose that game, honestly. Scoring that many points. Sorry, we're on sensors here. So, but it's, I think our ability to be, towards the top will depend on how much we buy in on the defensive end, honestly.
Yeah, my old saying, first one to 50 wins. And I honestly think, I private joke there. But yeah, I think it's going to be the same. I think, Coach, you got to win your games at home, and you got to steal some on the road.
No, that's right.
These Dakota schools are pretty equitable, I think, with our old Frontier Conference.
Yeah, no, and in Dakota State, that they're the real deal, and we matched up with those guys, if you remember, back in 2022 here in the national tournament first round, and that was a heck of a game. We pulled it out, but it was fun basketball to watch, and so yeah, we're excited and excited to get after it tonight against MSU Billings, and then move forward and take on Oregon Tech on Friday, and then, like I said, LC State on Saturday.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming on, and appreciate your time, and good luck tonight and in the future.
Yeah, appreciate you, Bob. Appreciate everything you do for Rocky Athletics, and we're just very thankful that you're back in the saddle, if you will.